Everybody, I am Zehra and today I'm gonna paraphrase the first chapter of critical thinking as possible as I can. And here is my content. Firstly, I'm gonna explain what is the critical thinking briefly, and in the second step, talk about the standard of critical thinking. In third step, I'm gonna explain benefits of critical thinking and finally explain characteristics of a critical thinkers. Let's start with what is the critical thinking. Although we use the word of critique for negative and fault finding, it does not that mean exactly. Critical thinking means thinking clearly and intelligently and make a deep analyzing to an argument and evaluate them logically. And when it comes to critical thinking standards, here is lots of standards that we can say. The first standard is clarity. Before we evaluate a person's claim, we need to understand clearly what he or she is talking about or what is the message that he or she wanna convey us. But most of time we fail to understand themselves properly because of lack of skills, laziness, and carelessness. So we should pay close attention to them. And the second standard is precision. The most reasonable example for this standard is Sherlock Holmes' ability to solve the complex mysteries. The secret, the secret of his success is deep observation and carefulness. It is crucial to insist on precious answer. The third one is accuracy. Our information should base on accurate things. Critical thinkers don't just follow the accurate, they have passion for accurate informations. When it comes to relevance standards in every aspect of life, people try to distract an audience attention by raising irrelevant issues and we don't even realize it. We are manipulated, but critical thinking does not allow it by pushing us to think and evaluate the claims consciously. The other one is consistency. Logic tells us that if a person holds inconsistent beliefs, at least one of those beliefs must be false. Critical thinking helps us become aware of unconscious practical inconsistencies, allowing us to deal with them on a conscious and rational basis. Other step is logical correctness. To think logically, we need to have reasonable reasons. To think critically, we need accurate and well supported beliefs. When it comes to the standard of completeness, we should think deep rather than superficial to be able to understand the claims appropriately. And the last standard is fairness. We must put aside our biases to reach a logical conclusion, and we need to think open mindedly and clearly to be able to think critically. And when it comes to our second step, which is benefits of critical thinking, we can divide it into three parts as a benefits in classroom, in workplace, and in life. Let's begin with benefits in classroom. With the critical thinking course, students will be understand the arguments and belief of others. They will be able to evaluate those arguments critically and they will be able to develop their own arguments and also be able to defend both their and others' well-supported arguments. The other advantage is critical thinking is in workplace because survey find out that most of the employees are looking not for highly specialized career skills, but also they want employees who analyze information, solve problems, and think creatively. This all skills covers up critical thinking. And critical thinking have also advantages in life too. All of us making some foolish decision in any period of our life. Critical thinking helps us to avoid such mistakes by guiding us to think logically and carefully. And the third step is barriers to critical thinking. Let's have a look at them. The first barrier is egocentrism. Egocentrism is self-centered. Think briefly. This is a big handicap to think critically because it hinders rational thinking by focusing excessively on self. The second barrier is sociocentrism. It means group-centered thinking. This thinking is extremely common throughout the history. Those kind of people incline to agree the opinions of group members without express their opinions, and it also hinders to think critically. The other barrier is unwarranted assumptions and stereotypes. In every aspect of life, we make assumptions. If the weather report calls for rain, we take an umbrella because they assume that meteorologist is not lying. Such assumption is warranted, which means that we have a logical reason to hold them. On the other hand, unwarranted assumptions are not reasonable. Such assumptions often prevent us to think clearly. The most known type of unwarranted assumption is stereotype. It means we assuming that all or nearly all members in a group are alike. The other barrier is relativistic thinking. Relativism is the belief that there is no absolute truth. The most popular forms of relativism are subjectivism and cultural relativism. Subjectivism is the view that truth is depends on person's opinion. On the other hand, cultural relativism is the view that truth is shaped by social and cultural opinions. These all thinking are huge barriers to think critically. The last barrier is wishful thinking. It means you believe what you want to believe, even if you have not enough evidence and well supported claims. Finally, the characteristic of critical thinkers are they have passion for critical thinking standards. They are aware of their limitation and they are honest themselves. They listen open-mindedly, they make deep analysis and observation and argument, they think independently in any group, they try to pursue the truth even if they have impediments and difficulties on their way. I hope I could explain them to you properly. Thank you for everyone for listening.